Hello and welcome. Goa is in bad shape. From positivity rate as high as 51% to people losing their life because of lack of application of mind and lack of administrative acumen of those in power. Let us first see this report and then move on to the debate of this week.
From being the first state in the country to be declared as green state with zero COVID-19 cases in mid-May 2020 to today being at the top for having the highest positivity rate in India. This is the milestone Goa achieved in just 1 year. The smallest state in the country today sees 1 in every second person testing positive for the deadly virus. The second wave of coronavirus has hit India badly, making it the second worst hit country after the United States. While states like Maharashtra, Kerala, Gujarat, Haryana, Delhi that once saw biggest jump in daily cases are slowly showing signs of recovery with respective state administrations putting in all efforts with the restrictions on public movement. In Goa, the last state to impose any restrictions despite thousands of daily cases, the dirty politics has taken toll over lives of people. On an average, in the current month, state is reporting daily 3,065 cases with 57 related deaths. A close analysis of the COVID statistics revealed an unprecedented rise in daily infection. A total of 33,722 people tested positive in just 11 days of May, which is almost equal to the number of cases reported in the entire month of April. May 7 saw the highest single day surge with 4,195 new cases. It does not end here. In 11 days, 636 innocent lives have been lost. No doubt, around 23,000 people have also recovered from the deadly virus during the period. However, the state's COVID-19 situation is very grim and cannot be ignored. With just 50,000 total cases in January, Goa's caseload has breached 1,25,000 mark in just 3.5 months. 1,804 people have succumbed to the infection. For the last consecutive 3 weeks, Goa has ranked at the top with highest positivity rate in the country, while states like Haryana, Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat are reporting declining trend. The coastal states' positive graph has continued to go upward. Lack of beds, oxygen supply, medical staff are some of the major issues that has grappled states' fight against COVID. While on one side, the citizens are battling with COVID infection and its pandemic, the tussle between the Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant and the Health Minister Vishwajit Rane to prove superiority has worsened the situation. The state's premium health facility, GMC, where at present 1,000 odd patients are undergoing treatment for COVID, is at its worst. While doctors are working overnight to save lives of people, the oxygen crisis are taking away lives, one after another. In the absence of beds, the patients are seen lying on hospital floors. The internal politics between Chief Minister and Health Minister, which is now public, is taking toll over health of people. As government failed to manage the COVID situation, several NGOs and citizens moved High Court for intervention. The court has strongly pulled up the state government over its complete failure to bring the situation under control. It has said enough is enough while holding state administration and GMC accountable for the rising number of deaths. While on one side cases continue to rise, Goa is in the dark if any new strain other than the regular COVID-19 has its presence in the state.
The health of its citizen needs to be the focus point for the government for now. Combating COVID crisis is all what is needed for the present moment. Political mileage cannot be at the cost of people's lives. Vrishang Mahatme for Goa Ahead.
Hello and welcome to this week's debate on Goa Ahead. And the topic obviously is this very dire situation of the pandemic in Goa. What went wrong and why High Court had to intervene and what got exposed in the High Court. I have 3 eminent panelists with me. First, I have Dr. Shekhar Sarkar, renowned doctor from Goa from Manipal Hospitals, who is also the head of BJP's medical cell. Doctor, welcome. Next, I have Advocate Amit Palekar, who is working with different NGOs to help COVID patients and their relatives, and at the same time, he is an intervener in the case in the High Court. And last but definitely not the least, I have Advocate Nikhil Pai, who is a lawyer for the petitioner in the High Court, that is South Goa Advocates Association. Nikhil, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Why did you go to the High Court? Why did you feel the need to go to the High Court? And whatever has happened in the High Court during last 3 days, what is your impression?
Well, the need to go to High Court was felt because we were receiving a lot of complaints from members of our bar regarding the inavailability of oxygen, the inavailability of beds. Now, the need for moving the High Court was felt because we thought that there is not enough being done by the administration, and there were deaths that were happening due to paucity of oxygen. And therefore, we thought it was best thing to move the High Court to see how this situation can be improved. One of the necessary inputs that we received during this matter was that GARD, that is Goa Association of Resident Doctors, had written a letter to the Dean highlighting all these issues. So therefore, considering all the necessary points involved, including paucity of oxygen, life-saving medicines, the manner in which the doctors were being treated, we thought it would be best if we seek intervention of the High Court and gain some solution to it.
Yeah. Amit, what was your impression after attending these hearings for last 3 days? You intervened. Why did you feel the need to intervene? And after these extensive hearings for 3 days, what is your impression of the situation on ground?
We have been in JMC with our volunteers doing various works in JMC. We had seen what is exactly there and what's exactly lacking in JMC. Now, we made our efforts, doctors were making their efforts, but the administration seems to have failed in a lot of aspects of it. And that was the reason the government also had failed. That was the reason when we thought that the too many deaths which occurred in the intervening night of 10th and 11th, 11th and 12th, 12th and 13th, and the major causes which we witnessed personally was improper oxygen supply. Now, there was no way High Court had passed earlier orders, of course, on petitions which were general in nature. So we had to bring it to the notice of the High Court that there is something very prominently missing, and that is the proper oxygen supply, which led to the deaths of a lot of patients. And that's why to appraise the High Court, we actually put for the actual situation on ground zero, that is at JMC, and sought intervention of the High Court to take everyone to task. And that is what was achieved during the hearings of the High Court, when the High Court insisted that not just the lawyers, but the administration, the doctors, the dean, and everyone was taken to task or asked to come on the hearing, on the virtual hearing that happened. And solution was sought to be found. Of course, for 3 days, in spite of directions, there was still so much that was expected, which led to more deaths. High Court expressed their absolute frustration over what is happening. And then it took another day more to get a little bit of improvement in the situation, which we saw last night. But before that, so many things which were prominent, which could have been sorted.
Amit, before I go to Dr. Salkar to understand this in a better way, are you saying that this is happening for more than 10 days now, and administration got geared up only after the High Court intervened, after you guys approached the High Court?
Certainly. In fact, there was not much coming forth from the administration. Lot of these things could have been found out much prior. Why did it have to be found out after High Court intervened, or on our intervention petition orders were passed, and then you went to find out what are the glitches which are actually there? You found out after that the oxygen system which is being followed up in the GMC block, old one, is archaic system. Why did you not do it for last 1 year? You had a chance to prepare for 1 year. You did not do it.
Dr. Salkar, how do you look at the situation as an expert and also as a person who is a medical face of the Goa BJP? How do you look at this situation? Why so many lapses and why so much insensitivity towards the situation?
What is first needed is to do a proper audit of these 26 or 21 or 15 deaths which occurred. We have to see it is only because of oxygen, or it is oxygen is one of the factors which has led to this death. Because there are a lot of patients which are on ventilators, which you all know that once the patient in COVID patient goes on ventilator, his chance of survival is minuscule. Plus, if they are there on already on 10 days, 15 days on ventilator, then their chances of coming back to life is extremely rare. I have to know in these 26 people, if there were people who died only on, who were on a central pipeline, or those who died on the cylinders which died, or they died normally because there is some amount of increased deaths are seen in all types of patients when they are, hypoxic patient at the time of 2 to 4 o'clock position, because there is the lowest oxygenation is there in the body. Now, this thing, without having this data with me, I won't be able to tell you that it is only thing that it is oxygen is the only thing. Yes, oxygen scarcity was there in every state. Every state have struggled in this. It's not only Goa. And one thing I want to tell you is that this time the spike was straight up. Last time it was a steady spike and we had time to do, and all were very little bit of geared up. And this time we were little overconfident also that we have a staff which is well trained, we have hospitals which are trained, we have everything in place. So we were expecting that we may be able to take up this challenge well.
Do you agree what happened in the High Court during last 72 hours and the kind of facts that came to light, apart from the enormity of the situation and the overwhelming numbers, there is a negligence on the part of the administration, there is insensitivity on the part of the administration. The measures that the administration implemented during last 48 hours could have been implemented 10 days back. You are a part of a very reputed private hospital. You are a part of a very reputed private hospital. If this was the scene in a private hospital, you guys would have done that 10 days back. So why such an insensitivity on a government front?
No, I'm telling you, Frank, because Dr. Tariq Thomas, who is a very efficient officer, he was in charge of all these things. And he had been in contact with me. He came, he saw our plant. See, there was no liquid medical oxygen plant which is functioning other than our hospital in full Goa. Then we told him that this is important. He asked me who is giving this Lindays, then Praxier. I gave him all the numbers. They were starting that Bicholim, there is one plant which they wanted to ship. But see, everything takes time in all these things. Nothing can happen. Yes, I agree one thing. I agree one thing on that.
Sorry to interrupt and say this here, sir.
I have not interrupted you.
Okay. Nikhil, let doctor finish the point and I'll come to you. Yeah, doctor, finish your point.
Let me speak.
Yeah, doctor, finish your point.
Listen to me first.
Yeah.
So this Praxier and Linde who gives supply to us for Manipal Hospital, we need actually once in 10 days that tanker to come and fill up, and we should be happy with that. Now, with one good thing which I accept is the biggest mistake on our part is not to have full GMC on that liquid medical oxygen plant. When we were having 1,200 bedded hospital of GMC, we were still running on the trolley system, which is outdated system. Yeah. We should have done that well. And I agree with you. That is, but our new hospital, like 500 bedded hospital, South Goa District Hospital, they have the liquid medical plant. The plant is already functioning in South Goa. It's already functioning in the 500 bedded hospital. And it is not easy to shift something and start.
Okay. Nikhil, Nikhil, you wanted to make a point. Go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering if everything was, we had efficient officers. I believe they also should have had some foresight where this system should have been installed much earlier. Why wait for so many deaths to take place when you know that an outdated system is in place and there is a pandemic unleashed and you have a year to prepare? Why do you wait all this while with an outdated and archaic system as now the government itself calls it? Why do we have to wait for so many people to die because of this system? That is where the apathy lies.
But Amit, let me ask a very simple question, because see, there are 2-3 aspects involved into it. Number one is shortage. Number two is a problem with a supply line within the state of Goa, and number 3 are the logistical issues at Goa Medical College, that the oxygen reaches Goa Medical College, but the shift over time is so much that your critical patients succumb. What do you think is the biggest problem? Shortage, supply lines issues, or the logistical issues at Goa Medical College?
Let me, with due respect to Dr. Sarkar, in fact, when he said that the spike was the vertical spike, 2 months before Maharashtra was going through this, we had 2 months to prepare. It is the lethargy of the government which has led to this. He is talking about a oxygen supply system which is available in Bicholim, They make a statement yesterday before the High Court that we are trying to get it. If doctor had already advised Mr. Tariq about this system much earlier, why was it not brought 7 days back? Why do you have the High Court to intervene and do this? It's a lethargy, nothing but lethargy of the government, insensitivity of the government, and nothing more than that. If this the oxygen is enough, it has to be filled, it has to be brought, it has to be, a system has to be laid down. If you let them accept the fact, don't let us not politicize the issue. I am not here to politicize the issue. Doctor knows the fact, and I'm sure the Goa, the whole of Goa knows the fact of the matter, that it is the inability of the government to deal with this issue that this has led to this. This could have been done much before.
Okay, I'm asking you another question here. Now we are talking about death, Samit. Before I go back to Dr. Salkar, I want your views and Nikhil's views also on this. As citizens of Goa, and you have said that why are you doing everything when the High Court intervenes? We are in the middle of a curfew/lockdown right now. Do you think there have been administrative decision-making lapses during last couple of months where the decisions that should have been taken a month ago or a month and a half ago have been taken 30 or 40 days late, which has led to this situation? Do you believe so? Amit, you first, I'll take Nikhil and then I'll go to doctor.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe so. The only reason I believe so is that, okay, you did not want to go for lockdown, fine. Whole of the administration was telling you that let us go for lockdown, and that the government said no lockdown. Only thing that could have been done is Maharashtra, Karnataka were not allowing Goans to come without RT-PCR test. You could have made it compulsory for them to come to state of Goa with RT-PCR test, or refuse entry to them. What was there? What were you waiting for? People to die? That is what has the biggest lapse. If the very simple thing to do is get RT-PCR test compulsory for anyone coming to Goa, whether to enjoy or to find sanctuary in Goa, which was a safe haven. But you allowed people to come in without RT-PCR test. They got the different strains of virus to Goa, and which is leading to deaths in Goa. There is blood on the hands of this government, and I strongly say that.
Nikhil, what do you believe? Then we'll go to doctor because of the vertical spike argument that doctor made. Let's see the other side. But do you believe that when it comes to decision making and some very, very quick decisions that are needed to be taken in a situation like this were delayed by a month or so?
I think, that's absolutely correct. These decisions could have been easily taken much more in advance. There were reports that the second wave is going to hit and the second wave is going to be much more deadly. So there have been a lot of preparation that could have been done. Even now we see that, there is some lack of coordination despite the High Court interfering and trying to put things in place. One of the things, if you see completely, if there was no lockdown in Goa, at least the state administration could have gone ahead and prepared better for handling this second wave. Now, one of the things what Dr. Sarkar also said was regarding how patients on ventilator are a more serious nature. There is a research which I believe which says that if HNFOs, those are high nasal flow oxygen masks, are used, most of the times the patients don't even go to the stage of requiring a ventilator. Then there was an admission by the Dean of GMC before the High Court that the HNFOs were not used because they used a lot of oxygen. It does not get any worse than that. Able instrument is
that
not
we
being
have HFNOs which can save lives, and we are not using them because they will consume too much of oxygen because we have shortage of oxygen. And which is leading to patients either losing life or going on ventilator.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Doctor, 2 points.
I also want to make a point here. Like doctor asked for data. We have seen it happen in front of our eyes that the patients have lost life during the transition period when oxygen supply was affected. Their saturation went down and they were never revived back. This we saw. There was no medical science. I am not aware about medical or rocket science that I need to understand that the saturation has dropped because the oxygen supply was not coming to him and he was gasping for breath, and doctors were trying to give him alternate system of cylinders or portable cylinders. Now, this is a factual position. I don't think, and I can come on affidavit to see this. So I
Okay.
don't think there is anything,
Okay.
any inquiry is required for this purpose.
Dr.
No,
Sarkar, Dr.
even
Sarkar,
if
2
you see,
points.
just a small thing I need to add in over here.
Yeah.
That when the transition happens between two trolleys, the least the administration could have done is inform the doctors in the COVID wards, in the ICU wards, that there is going to be a drop in pressure so that some measures could be taken by the
So,
doctors over it.
Nikhil, are you
That
telling me
also had
that
to be
after
informed
shortage
to the High Court,
problem,
and direction had to be sought.
no, Nikhil, are you telling me that after shortage problem, supply
Yes.
line problem, logistics problem, are we talking
Exactly.
about a communication problem right now?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely. In
that's
fact, the
I
doctors
think
in the ICU wards, in
that's
the COVID wards, were not even informed when the transition happens between two trolleys.
I think this is
Now,
This
this
was
is the
brought to the
point.
notice.
I think these
Yesterday,
are
I
the
brought
kind
this
of,
to the notice
yeah.
of the court.
No, I think
absolutely.
these are the kind of points that are very frustrating and distressing. Dr. Sarkar, 2 points. Number one, do you think that this government was late in decision making? Number two, when we talk about HFNOs and a statement is made before the High Court that we cannot give HFNOs to patients because there is because HFNOs consume more oxygen, and communication gaps like this, do you think these are the situations which can be resolved very easily if your administration is more sensitive?
First of all, let me take a communication issue. I think communication issue is the simplest issue which can be solved.
Yeah.
And that if they have not done, it is their fault. Absolutely, I agree with you. Because the doctors have to know that, Baba, yes, this time the chances are there that this is dropped. So we can make, at least the doctors are nurses and all, they are prepared that there is chances that there may be a drop. They can make some alternate arrangement for those who are extremely serious patients. Yes, some people will not make a big difference in that. Those who are on 91, 92, they will not. But those who are in 80 and 85 saturation, I think this knowledge could have saved them also if that is happened because of that. So that is, I agree that if that communication is the simplest thing, what could have happened? One phone call from this to the doctor in charge there could have solved the problem. It's not a rocket science for anybody to say that, yes, the new trolley is being changed. You please be prepared for it. Then second thing is important part is HFNO. See, HFNO, some guidelines are now that if you have a shortage of the oxygenation, it may not be total shortage, but even if you want to save some oxygenation, it is better to keep them because there is a lot of wastage also occurs in the HFNO. Means there is almost 60 liters of oxygen can be pushed, but you can control that. You can give 30 liters, you can give 15 liters, you can 5 liters. I feel that issue that Acton Dean and his staff has to take this call on that. We are using HFNO for every patient which needs HFNO. In our hospital, we have a 5 HFNO. We use all the 5 this, and we keep standby this NIV and other thing only if they don't sustain on a HFNO, because HFNO is a fantastic instrument, and we have agreed that that is the instrument which should be used. Yes, when you have a little bit of dilemma about the oxygen will be available or not, that is up to the doctor to take a decision on that, because once you go on a ventilator, we all know that the chances are very less. The new thing which our doctor Praveen Bhatt and all told in the expert committee meeting also to the health secretary, that you can use a NIV mask, non-invasive ventilation, with additional concentrator there, can also be acting like a high flow this oxygenation. So that is the electric one, oxygen concentrator. So that doesn't use the normal oxygen which is there. So that in addition to NIV also can be a one good this, which we had told to the government that time also, when Dean also was there, director was there, all the officers of the Goa Medical College were there. So there are some alternatives which are there, but those things, that decision has to be taken by the Dean with the consultation of the Dean. Is not an expert in the management of COVID as such. So those who are in the anesthesiologists or intensivists who are there manning that very intensive patients, I think they are the one we should take this, and we should give a free hand to them to treat the patient, because if that can save the patient, I think that will become a priority of the treatment. What was the third question?
The third question is about the late decision making.
Yes, I agree, and it is in a retrospectively we all feel that that was a little laxity on our part to declare it late. But in the end, one who governs only knows what is the importance of governance. See, it is very important, very easy to say you can do 30 days lockdown, you can do 25 days lockdown. It's very easy to say, but one who is, that chair has to take that decision thinking about the financials and other things also, because you need to pay all the staff also. So if you can't afford to pay all the staff, then, financially, then it is very difficult to, so total lockdown, as Nikhil said, total lockdown was not answer. Yes, curfew could have been put a little bit more efficiently. Maybe preventing of the people coming from this may not be the only factor which has given to all this. I have said again that it is not only the outside people who have brought all these things. Our people also have behaved a little bit irresponsibly. All the Shigmo you have seen, how we have celebrated Shigmo, how we have celebrated Zatras, how we have celebrated weddings. You all know this. And don't blame outside only people for everything. We also have to blame. And tomorrow, giving some oxygen to Sawantwadi, please don't make an issue out of it. We are surviving today because Kolhapur and Karnataka is giving oxygen to us. If they don't give oxygen to us, we would have died, without oxygen.
Okay.
Every patient would have died.
Dr. Fairpoint.
Please don't make unnecessary issue. Yes, I agree with you that the decision to have a lockdown or a curfew or similar nature restrictions, whatever you name, you can call them, should have been there early. We should have been more smarter in terms of having shifting that liquid oxygen, medical oxygen plant for the Goa Medical College little early when Bombay was suffering. Actually, Bombay is our nearest everything we do, because there is around 15 to 20 days lag period between what happens in Bombay and what happens in Goa. Now that Bombay is already coming down, I'm quite sure we little bit of improvement on the oxygen part of it, then and the positivity is going down from 51% to almost 35%. In next few days, our problems and our death rates will definitely come down over a period of maybe next 8 to 10 days.
Okay. Final, I'm completely out of time. Nikhil, very quickly, what do you expect from the government now?
Well, I think now they need to put their act together, coordinate better between all departments. The administration needs to gear up, not just to tide us over this crisis, but also the impending third wave. See, this the third. It is now quite clear that the third wave is going to, affect mostly children. The first wave affected elderly. Now the young people are being affected, and the third wave, God forbid, is going to affect the children. I think the administration needs to gear up on this and other problems that may arise. There needs to be foresight and there needs to be able administration with efficiency. If that is not done, I don't know what further is going to happen.
Amit, very, very quickly, what do you expect from the government?
Leave aside politics, be little empathetic, buckle up. Anything is possible. Everything can be improved. Forget what has happened in the past. Forget your faults. Get over them. Accept your faults and move ahead. We are all with you.
Very, very important. Dr. Salkar, finally, very quickly, what do you expect the government to do from a medical practitioner's point of view? Very quickly.
I don't know I should say or not, but I had suggested to Mr. Parrikar that time that all administration has to be with the administrators. Doctors cannot be good administrators. So doctors can do what they do best. Okay, I can't believe that Dr. Bandekar, Dr. Rajesh Patil go and attend the meetings when they are supposed to treat the patients. You should have a trained, now there is something like masters in public health, masters in finance, masters in economics. Everybody is there. There are right people are there. So you should be there, the right people at the right place. Doctors should be treating the patient.
I think
doctors cannot go with the files and waiting outside the office of Chief Minister, Health Minister,
to attend meetings
and just wait and to get some orders from them.
No, I think this is a very
treat the patient.
I think very important. I'm ending the show on that point. Very, very crucial point. That
I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing. In Manipal Hospital, we have the same system. There is a unit head who is a MBA in administration or management. I am just a face of Manipal. But he calls me only when there is some issue of medical problem.
I think, Doctor, I'll end the show on that very crucial point. And let me emphasize this: that doctors, paramedics are doing their best in Goa. They are struggling 24 hours to save lives. But the point that doctor made, that the administrative backup, the resource backup, that should be provided to the doctors and paramedics, that is where we are falling short. And this is a very crucial point. Let doctors do what they do best. let there be administrators to provide them this very strong backup with empathy, with more sensitivity, and most important, time sensitivity. Amit, Nikhil, Dr. Sarkar, thanks a lot for joining me. Keep watching. Go ahead.